Um, Thank you, Your Worship. I do. I do wish to acknowledge and congratulate two of our senior management team directors. Um, I'm happy to announce that uh, Director Bombin has been elected president of the Government Finance Officers Association, significant role. And as well, I am pleased to announce that Director Bombin is also going to be teaching the finance uh, class for local government students through the Local Government Association at our local college. Um, and Director Beauregard uh, has been elected as a member of the board of the British Columbia Recs and Park Association. In both these cases, they deserve congratulations, of course, but I would like to hasten to add that this reflects very well on our senior management team and on the city. Thank you.
There we go. All right, let's do that again. We are in great hands as an organization, and in no small part because of the leadership of Dr. Buchan himself. And while he will be with us about another month, roughly, the days are ticking down. This is the last time that he will be present in this council chambers for a council meeting. And actually, while I'm doing that, I should acknowledge that we have Councillor Forster joining us all the way from Finland tonight. So where it is, I think, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning or something. She's been up bright and early. Thank you, Councillor, for joining us.
Thank you. It is 5 a.m.
There you go. But Dr. Buchan, we want to acknowledge you and the work that you've done. You were here before I arrived on the scene as a member of the team, but you were actually here working as a consultant around the 2030 vision and the plan, and I think got so excited by what you saw that you wanted to become a part of it. There's no question that the agenda got a little bit hijacked in terms of becoming far more an infrastructure focus than the vision of 2030. Um, but all of that was necessary to lay the foundation so that 2030 is possible. Um, we've had tremendous success under your leadership. We've raised uh, hundreds of millions of dollars. We have tackled some of the worst of our problems. There's still challenges in front of us, of course, but you leave us in a really good spot. We've added to the revenue picture substantially during that time through activities at Watson Island, through Legacy Prince Rupert, through advocacy for the RBA and other things, so that the fiscal picture for the city is substantially stronger than the day you joined. And our people situation is strong. It's not often in in my experience on various boards that I've served on where I recommend uh, or I support the recommendation to actually have an internal succession plan without a search uh, for the replacement. You came to council with the plan, believing that we had the people in place who could take leadership, and I think the community is well aware. But on your departure, DCM, Deputy City Manager Pucci, will become City Manager Pucci, and Director Miller will move into the deputy role. And all of that's exciting, in addition to the people you've already mentioned who lead us well every day. So we wanted to take a moment while we're here together. I'm not going to make anything big and wonderful out of it, but we have a small token here, and the card, which is going to be worth a fortune because it's got my signature on it. And you might want to hang on it anyway. As you watch us succeed, over the years, from wherever you're watching, some cruise ship somewhere or a river fishing for whatever you're going to be fishing for, I hope you feel like you're sharing in the journey with us.
Your worship, it's been a real pleasure, a real privilege, and I will certainly reflect back on this place, not just on my vacations, but I have the opportunity to talk to students about local government, and this community, this mayor and council, this staff team provided an exemplary example of how things should be run.
Thank you. Good. Congratulations. Thank you. Councillor Cunningham.
I think we should also present him with a pipe.
Yeah. 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 We're not quite done with it, but maybe when we're done with it, we'll do that. All right. We have been incredibly well served, and we are going to continue to be incredibly well served. And I think the community sees the shoots of that springing up all around us as we move into one gigantic construction zone. All right, with that, I am going to move on to the consent agenda. There are a number of items there. There are the council minutes for approval from the meeting of May the 26th. There's a report from the Director of Recreation Community Services with regards to Recreation Community Services activities update for the first 2 quarters of 2025. There's a report from Planning with regards to the Development Activity Report May 2025. There's correspondence for approval, request for proclamation for the National Drowning Prevention Week, which is July the 20th to the 26th. The recommendation is that all the items on the consent agenda be approved or received as requested. Councillors Cunningham and Adie, any discussion? There's some items in there that are well worth drawing attention to. Councillor Randhawa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Under reports from the Director of Recreation and Community Services, so very thorough report and lots of happening there. So thank you for doing that. So my only question, like some people asking question, right? Under the we have community plans and policy discussion councils, right? So under that plan, if we have any plan for the Roosevelt Park, like we have any plan coming there to fix that ground there?
Yep.
Like in so people asking us, right? Like if
Perfect.
we have any update on that.
I think this is the great place to go. Dr. Bucket.
Your worship, just one moment, please. Can you speak to that? I'm going to defer to Director Beauregard.
Absolutely. Director Beauregard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through to Councillor Randhawa. Are you referring to cricket specifically with that update?
Cricket and even some other soccer too, like some people.
Yeah.
Like they saw drainage problem all the time, and people asking like if city has, because it's under city, so they asking like if anything happening on that ground.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in April, I met with the regional cricket club with the operations team as well. So we did a site visit. So there's extensive drainage issues with that site. So in terms of being able to play, that at this time isn't really feasible. So the cricket club has actually found a new home potentially, and working with the district of Port Ed specifically. We're still working with programming in the arena, and they've been doing some triad events specifically on that. What I'll probably do is just connect in with Director Jordan Schmidt because Parks falls under his purview in terms of maintenance and sort of that component. And we support the recreational components or bookings and partnerships. So we work really closely together, but I can sort of pass that along. And if there's any further updates in terms of infrastructure, he could probably connect on that.
Before you go away, Councillor Cunningham.
I'd like to congratulate Director Beauregard on 2 things that I took out of there. The way she's going to be changing the display cases in the lobby.
Yep.
Yeah, so there will be a monthly change and things like this. And the other one that I thought was great, we were struggling with lifeguards, and you put on free training for lifeguards, and we got 7 lifeguards out of it. I think that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Director Beauregard? Thank you very much. It is. I encourage people to take a look at that report. It's very comprehensive. There's tremendous amount of activity taking place around recreation in our community, and yeah, well worth checking out. All right, if there's nothing else, no other comments on any other item, all in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. We move on to a report from the city manager with regards to the consideration of the 2024 annual report for public circulation, with a recommendation that council approve the circulation of the 2024 annual report. Can I have a motion to that effect, please? Councillor Rundawa, Councillor Adie, Dr. Bucket. Oh, sorry, there's a second part to the motion, and that council set the date of June the 23rd for a public meeting on the annual report. Dr. Bucket.
Your worship, it is a thorough and lengthy report. I have nothing to add to it, but happy to answer questions.
All right. Any questions or comments from council? Councillor Cunningham.
The comment more than anything, we get a lot of questions asked sometimes as counselors and staff as well. And this report is so comprehensive, I advise people to actually take the time to look at it or come to the meeting about it, because it's going to answer a lot of questions that people ask over the period of time that are in that report.
Yeah, I agree. It's a substantial document, and I would say certainly it goes well beyond what the minimum requirement would be under the law or under the legislation, and really, when people look back on it, they'll be able to get a real sense of what was going on in this particular era. So I think it's incredibly valuable. Any other comments or questions? June the 23rd is the date that you want to keep in mind if you want to be part of the public meeting to review that. All in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. We move on to a report from this. A report from the city manager with regards to the strategic plan update. Recommendation is the council adopt the mid-year strategic plan status update. Can I have a motion, please? Councillors Adie and Rundawa. Any discussion, comments, or questions? Dr. Buchan, was there anything you wanted to say?
Your worship, just that. The report has a completed section at the end, which shows as actions are completed, they get rolled into, I would say, a report card of sorts. It does not fully capture all of the work that has been done. In each of the actions that remain within the strategic plan, there's been a great deal of action and success in moving the overall action forward. So we will continue to move things once they're completely done, but it doesn't fully reflect just how much work has been done.
Right. Good comment. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. We now move on to a report from the Director of Development and Planning Services with regards to the Prince Rupert Middle School development. And your people watching are going to get a lesson in civic government, in that both Councillor Adie and myself have determined that we are in conflict on this matter. And in that it involves School District 52. Councillor Adie is an employee of School District 52, and I'm married to the Assistant Superintendent of School District 52. What is required of us? What is expected of us in local government? And I hold to this very highly. I got to tell you, I wince when I watch what's happening in other levels of government in other places in the world, when people are accepting large gifts openly. And we live in a world where we refuse a cup of coffee lest it be misinterpreted. And I think this is just really, really, really important that people see and understand that, because Councillor Adie and I deem ourselves to be in conflict. Nobody's told us we have to step away. We deem ourselves to be in conflict. We will not participate in any way, shape, or form. We will not discuss this with other councillors. They can't, they can ask me my opinion. I won't share it with them. I will in no way participate in the discussion or the debate around this issue, as I think is quite appropriate. And so for that reason, Councillor Adie and myself are going to leave the room. Councillor Cunningham Councillor Adie is the appointed acting mayor for the month of June, but he'll leave the room. Councillor Cunningham, therefore, will now take over the chair. Councillor Adie and I will leave the room, and we'll wait for you to invite us back in. You can hang on to it tonight if you want, Councillor.
This lofty position. Okay, the subject's Prince Rupert Middle School development. The recommendation is that council require under section 506.3 2-B of the Local Government Act that School District 52 complete the scope of sanitary main replacement as shown in Schedule A of this report at their cost and prior to receiving occupancy of the new middle school building. The council declines the request from School District 52 contractors to waive building permit fees for the new middle school and demolition of the current middle school. Do I have a seconder or a mover and a seconder? Okay, discussion? Councillor Neese?
As far as waiving fees, I think, the only fees that we've been waiving has been for the purpose of building housing for the most part. And this currently doesn't fit that. And I understand that they haven't budgeted for this, but, unfortunately, for every action, there's a reaction. And if we give up, it costs us $15 million to upgrade our landfill. And, if for every dollar we give away, it's more money that we have to spend down the road. So, these fees all go towards services. So by giving those fees up, that's affecting our budget too. And as much as it affects theirs, it affects ours as well. So unfortunately, I have to side with the recommendation.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? I can't see Terry there.
Yeah, I'm in favor. Councillor Cunningham.
Can't hear you, Terry.
Councillor Forrester, we can't hear you.
I was going to be voting against, similar to Councillor Nisha's statement.
So I'm in support. So, and you're not in favor of it, Councillor Forrester.
Correct.
Okay. Well, it passes. Mm-hmm. Oh, are you in favor of it?
Perhaps it would be helpful if you read the resolution.
The recommendation?
What is the resolution? Because the recommendation and the resolution were not clear. There was a recommendation.
The recommendation is that the council require under section 506.3 2-5 of the Local Government Act, the School District 52 complete the scope of sanitary main replacement as shown in Schedule A of this report at their cost and prior to receiving occupancy of the new middle school building. The council declines the request from School District 52 contractors to waive building permit fees for the new middle school and demolition of the current middle school.
Then I'm in favor of that motion. I'm sorry, when you read it out, I didn't hear you say decline.
Okay, so it passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Cunningham. And in another celebration of great democracy, you didn't hang on to the chair. You gave it back when you were done. That's all right. Item number 6D is in Delta is a report from the planning with regards to a donation of shelters for picnic tables at Seal Cove Salt Marsh. Public may remember that in the last committee of the whole, we had a presentation from Rotary with regards to Rotaract, actually, with regards to a project that they wanted to do. And the recommendation, after having been reviewed by staff, is that council approves the donation from the Prince Rupert Rainmakers Interact Club with the condition that prospective donors opt for metal roofs instead of the clear acrylic. Can I have a motion to that effect? Councillor Wade, Councillor Niche, Councillor Cunningham. Any discussion? Councillor Forster.
Thanks. I just had a question in light of the vandalism that happened to the Chetwynd statue. Are there going to be video cameras installed down in that area to ensure something similar doesn't happen to these wooden structures?
Dr. Buchan.
Your Worship, we do not currently have plans, but this will be discussed with senior staff and we will report back.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Councillor Adey.
Oh, I want to start by repeating myself in a way that I'm incredibly supportive of the project, not only because I think it improves that area, but also because of the student involvement in it. And I think supporting that involvement is of great benefit to not just those students involved, but as a message that to all students that being involved can make a difference in a community. So I'm very supportive of it. If I'm channeling their perspective on the stipulation for the metal roofs, and I'm not saying this because anybody's told me this. I'm just imagining that they might be quite attached to the notion of the light coming through the polycarbonate roofs. So I'm going to, if I can, direct a question through the mayor to Councillor Niche. If you could tell me the differences between those two, particularly in terms of cost. So if we stipulate the metal, how much more is involved in terms of cost? What are we doing to their costs?
Councillor Niche, you're being called on for your expertise, but you're also turning to the report.
Yeah, I believe I read that, geez, I'll have to look at it again here, but there was an increase in the cost in the metal. As far as my opinion, I mean, I think that those roofs are fairly small over top of the picnic table, so I don't think that the light will affect, so much, like the light coming through the top versus what's going to be coming through the sides as well. So, from a maintenance perspective, it's probably not a bad idea to have the metal roof because it is definitely more durable. That being said, one of the parts in the report, it did say, talked about melting them. And I mean, unless someone's actually standing on the picnic bench with a flame at the stuff there, I don't think it's too much of a, if someone's going to wreck something, they're going to wreck it regardless of what we put on it. So, if we based it just on vandalism, I don't think that's really a choice. I mean, I think it's more about, the durability, and probably the metal roof is more durable and would last a lot longer.
All right. Councillor Adey.
If I could come back to that, I do note in the report that one of the responses to that additional cost might be that they would choose to do fewer of the tables. So there is 6 tables in a long line. If this meant they could only do 5, aesthetically, I think that would be a little odd. I'm just wondering whether there's a way to get to ensuring that they could still do 6, even with the metal roof stipulation.
Dr. Buchan.
Your Worship, I'm advised that the cost is estimated to be pretty much the same, and that's in the report. However, I think that staff could take it as advice that if there is a consequence, unintended consequence, such as the reduction in the number of units, that perhaps we discuss that and see if there's a solution to it.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the motion at this point still contains that recommendation to go to the metal roof. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. We move on to council roundtable, and I'll note in the agenda, thank you very much, Councillor Forster. There is a report from you, a request for discussion regarding backyard chickens. The recommendation is that council direct staff to conduct a review of how introducing a backyard chicken bylaw for the community may work, including challenges and considerations, including potential costs, addressing waste, bylaw enforcement, etc., and report back to a future council meeting. Can I have a motion to that effect? Councillor Randhawa, Councillor Adey. Any further discussion? Councillor Forster, did you want to speak to the motion?
Yeah, if that's all right. So
Absolutely.
we have had a lot of people in our community secretly, not so secretly, have chickens in their homes, and there seems to be an appetite for having sustainable options for, waste as well as eggs. And I wonder if there's a way that we could do it. I've reviewed quite a few of the different municipal bylaws that exist currently in BC, as well as the SPCA regulations and suggestions. I don't know how many of them are ones that we could actually do. Just there is some discussion about dealing with illness, as well as if animals are seized, where would they go? And that's why I defer to staff to let us know whether or not this is something we could action.
Excellent. Dr. Bucket.
Your Worship, this resolution, this request is very timely. The council will recall that its official community plan has a fairly extensive food security section in it, and staff have been working on advancing food policy in Rupert, and in this, along with other urban agricultural opportunities, are being examined, and staff are getting prepared to actually bring a report, comprehensive report on this and other matters to council for consideration. This recommendation puts some specific items that I think that direction it would be welcomed in preparing that report.
Excellent. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? It is carried. Any other comments or questions from members of council? Councillor Randhawa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think last month or before that, we had community members came here for the immigration issue for the work permits for their employees. So again, people are asking me on the road, right? Like if city is going to write down some kind of letter or something for the special consideration for our community, because lots of business, they are scared they can lose their worker and they have to shut down. So I was wondering, we need some kind of motion or some kind of letter we can write down to immigration minister for that.
Dr. Bucket.
Your Worship, I believe that there is a motion on this. Staff have reached out to the key spokesperson on this, and with an offer to work together on the declaration. We are simply waiting for that response back, so that it's the declaration that they want. So this is in hand, provided they want to move forward on the initiative.
Yeah. And I'll add that while in Ottawa, we last week, the week before, for FCM, we had the opportunity to meet with our MP and brief him on a number of matters of concern to the community, and this was one of them that we raised. Making clear to him that across his riding, there are mayors and councils all throughout the riding who are experiencing the impact of the changes in immigration in a different way from our large urban counterparts. And while this may be something that's a welcome relief. I don't know. I can't speak for large urban mayors. In rural settings is having a dramatic impact, as you are a champion on this, Councillor, in terms of people's ability to actually continue business. And in addition to their linked to their ability to continue business is the ability of the community to enjoy their business, be that a restaurant, a hotel, grocery store, retail outlets, all kinds of our business community are being severely impacted by the changes that have been brought about to the immigration ruling. And we, I appreciate your constantly raising it and being a champion for it, and we will continue to push on it. Councillor Adie.
Just like to add a little context. I think that the urgency is maybe inflamed even further by the events south of the border and the degree to which that's created debate on our side of the border. And you don't have to journey very far online to find some pretty extreme viewpoints. And if I was in a position where I was worried about my status here, I think I would be finding it increasingly uncomfortable. So I think that we really do need to push for something fairly immediate in terms of some response.
Councillor Niche.
I just wanted to say, I was driving through town the other day, and it kind of came to me looking around at all the construction and just how exciting it is. And I just think back to 11 years almost now since getting on council, and seeing the financial position that our city was in at that time, which was not good. And just looking at what things are going on now, and these policies that we've created over the years for downtown development incentives and housing, waiving building permit fees, and the housing hasn't come as much as we'd like, but it is coming, and it's taking a little bit of time, but it's all kind of coming together, and it's such a long process, but I'm excited. I drive around town. I've never seen so many excavators and dump trucks and all these things working now, and it's so exciting to see old buildings being torn down and new things coming to life, and new streets and new pipes, and I mean, I just turned 50 the other day, and I've been here since I was a year and a half old, and I've never seen anything like this in my time here. So it's exciting to see our town finally rebounding from a rough 10 years of really rough, and then the last 10 years of kind of climbing out of that hole, and now people are starting to see some things happening. Now I'm sure we're going to hear many complaints about detours and closed streets, but at the end of the day, it might take you 10 minutes to get across town instead of 7. So I think we can live with it, and we just have to be patient with what's going on, and know that in 3 or 4 years from now, we're going to have a community that it still will be building, but we're going to see a lot of new things: new middle school, new housing, new streets. It's going to be fun to see it happen.
I agree with you. An overnight success, 25 years in the making. Councillor Cunningham.
Suddenly I feel old. It was 50 years ago, give or take a month, that I moved here. And I can't imagine Councillor needs some diapers. First of all, on the immigration, Councillor Adie and I several months ago went to a meeting, and what I found very surprising and ironic is when I walked into that room and started talking to people, the number of people I recognized that served me coffee or a beer or a sandwich or a hamburger and things like that. It was just blowing my mind that, I walked into this room and these people that I've interacted with were all sitting there worried.
These are the immigrants that,
Yeah,
that are at
these
risk.
students on visa with work
Yeah,
visas.
yeah.
But further to that impact on just the workforce and the immigration and that is the situation our college campus is going to be in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the students that go to that campus are foreign students. And if that number is going to be decreased, that campus is going to be in trouble as well.
Yeah.
And that's something that isn't factoring into this. We're looking at other aspects of it, but right across the north is, as you say, all the communities in the north have experienced this and expressed this, and I don't know how we can put, with this new government, I think they're going to look at it. But in the meantime, some of these people's visas are running out, and
Yeah.
they have no income,
Yeah.
and they're here, and
Yeah.
and some of them are paying exorbitant rents. It's ridiculous what they have to pay.
Yeah.
But so they're having a very difficult time right now.
Yeah.
But that said, it's something we definitely have to work on.
And Councillor Randawa, I believe you were on the board of the college with me back in that era where we pursued foreign students, not for the purpose of filling the coffers of the college, but we were having a hard time assembling enough people, students, to put on a class. And so local kids were losing out because we couldn't put on a class. And so the strategy was, let's attract students from outside the community so that we can put on an offering of programming for the sake of local kids. That was the whole focus behind that strategy. So I can't tell you whether that's still in place for the college, but I believe that if there's a decline in those students, it will also impact our local kids. Councillor Cunningham.
I'd be amiss if I didn't bring to everyone's attention that the start of, or towards the middle of this week, is the start of CFest, which is a premier event
Yep.
in this town. And I do believe Special Events is still looking for volunteers. So
Yep.
anyone that's got some spare time, I've volunteered to do the parade the last 6-7 years. Councillor Neese has done things like that also, but Councillor Randau has been involved in it. Possibly Councillor 80. I think we've all been involved at one time or another, but unfortunately this year I don't know if I'll be able to volunteer as I'm getting my eyes looked at and fixed, so I'll be stumbling around for a few days. But anyone that has time to volunteer for a few hours, I'm quite sure they could use you.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Is there anything else, Council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. I would love if the councillor from Finland, if you're still with us. Oh, let's go to both. Let's go Councillor Forrester and Councillor Skelton Morvan moving adjournment. All in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. Meeting adjourned.